Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of The Rapid Review. If you join me for the first time, my name is Bobby, and as we do every single week, I'm going to be breaking down everything that went on in the overall market this week, get you ready to trade for next week. So, without further ado, it's time for The Rapid Review. All right, as always, timestamps down in the description if you'd like to jump around. But remember, at the end of this, always give my 0 through 10 rating on this market so you can see exactly where I think this market is going. So make sure you stay tuned for that. All right, let's get started. With the current state of the market direction, we are now back to a confirmed uptrend. Spent some time in a downtrend, in a market correction. But on Wednesday, we got triggered with a follow-through day to jump us into a confirmed uptrend. Distribution days are now back in order, where we're going to be taking a look at those anytime they do occur and keeping track of them. And that puts us 3 days in the trend. So no longer looking at our rally day tracker. What was pretty interesting to me, though, was the rally day on the S&P and the NASDAQ that we got, the original rally days, never failed. So we had this pullback. The first rally day we got stayed intact. And you can see on day 12 of the S&P, we actually did get a follow-through day on the S&P. And then on day 13 of the NASDAQ, we also got a follow-through day. So pretty cool to see both the S&P and the NASDAQ getting a follow-through day, not just one of them. And again, far along in that rally because we never did fail on the original rally days we got once we went into correction. So pretty interesting. Turns distribution days, we have none yet, which is always a good sign, but it is only 3 days in. But we'll be keeping track of this every single week. So make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications so you can see this and many other bits of information every single week. All right, moving averages, green on all. We got back above the 50-day on the S&P and the Dow. The Dow also got back above its 21 and its 200-day. But we're green on all, which is a very, very positive sign. And I think we're a healthy amount over all of these moving averages. Be interesting to see if we can maintain above these levels, but for now, everything looking positive. More green, we got the S&P up 3.48%, the NASDAQ up 3.37%, the Dow up 3.22%, which makes us, for the year, S&P up 7.03%, NASDAQ up 16.77%, and the Dow up 0.38%. So Dow back in the green again. Lots of green across the board. Positive sign for the week for sure. All right, so let's jump over to Thinkorswim. And as we always do, let's start off by looking at the daily. These levels, stuff we've been talking about for week after week after week. Constantly saying that we need to get above certain levels. The main level we were really concerned about was this March 6th level. You could see there was just a lot of resistance. And then finally, when we got that follow-through day on Wednesday, it was breaking through that level. So that was really, really positive. Not only did we get a follow-through day, but we broke through an area where we felt like we were kind of finding some resistance. So real positive to see that. In terms of where we're looking now, though, this yellow line, 12,316.90, is the big question area. As you can see, we were rejected last time we attempted to get up there on February 2nd. And now we're making our way back towards there again. Can we break through and now hopefully continue to go higher? That's where the question falls. So it's going to be just one of those things to keep an eye on throughout this week. I will also say that similar to how we went a little sideways here at that key level, don't be surprised if we go sideways for a little bit and don't just rip higher and right through it. I think that doesn't necessarily mean anything good or bad. It could actually be a little healthy to rally up, pause, and continue to rally higher. So just keep an eye on how we act here, but don't be concerned if we don't right away rip through. On the downside, really keep an eye on the moving averages, but I think most important is always the 50-day, and in this situation, also the 200. So we really want to make sure we stay above the 50-day. This is going to keep continuing, but I think the 200 is kind of that line in the sand before we possibly start getting defensive again. And the real deep line in the sand is the low of that rally day that we pulled back to. So you can see we pulled all the way back, stopped, rallied higher, got the follow through day, and continued higher. And I think the interesting point is you could see that in just this longer term, what seems like attempted to continue to start uptrending, we rallied, we pulled back, did not break a new low. We rallied, we pulled back, did not make a new low. Can we rally again and hopefully get further out of this longer term downtrend? Let's see if which you can see on the weekly right here. So all questions to be answered, but that's just where we're at on the NASDAQ. Keep an eye on those levels. We'll show the S&P very, very similar on the daily. You can see getting through key levels, same key level to keep an eye out on the upside, same things on the downside, really. 50-day a little tighter to where we're at right now, so really keep an eye on that. And then you have your weekly, very, very similar look. So, but good to see both indexes moving jointly. Very, very happy to see that. Other than that, though, if you got any comments that you would like to add, things that you agree with, things you disagree with, or just comments about the show in general, drop them down in the comments down below. And again, subscribe. We do this every single week. All right. Next up, we got the industry groups. So we're looking at top 10, bottom 10 weekly performers, jumps and falls in the rankings. And as always, the top 20 industry groups with some breaking out stocks. And there's definitely been a lot of rotation going on for sure. But the top 10 weekly performers, you can see those up on the screen. Nothing I really want to highlight, nothing that jumps out at me. I mean, you do definitely see the oil and gas jumping up in there consistently this week. Not consistently this week, but a lot of those groups in that sector performing fairly well. So, but nothing else to add in terms of trends I'm seeing week after week. And then on the downside, banks getting hit. But the interesting thing here is these were the only 10 groups that were down for the week. Every other group, so all 187 other groups were up for the week. 10 exactly were the down for the week groups. So you're seeing them all right on the screen right here. Jumps in the rankings, you can see those on the screen. Nothing really to highlight here. And falls in the rankings. Yeah, nothing really to highlight here. It's good to keep an eye on this stuff to see if we're seeing a consistent trend of a group climbing up or a group being the higher performers. There's a good chance we're going to see that like we did with electronic semiconductors. We saw it kind of here first before we saw it in the top 10 and top 20 groups. So nothing really to highlight here, but still worth keeping an eye on every single week. All right, top 20 through 11. We just saw the commercial service document management was that big jump from 113 to 16. Other than that, I'm definitely seeing a lot of movement between just the top 20 in general. And you can kind of see that on the screen here. You're seeing 20 through 11. There's a rotation. You're seeing top 10 dropping into the 20 and vice versa. So some rotation going on. And I think it's going to be important to pay close attention to see really where the true leadership does lie. If this uptrend is going to continue, we're going to get a strong move out of this. You want to be in those top groups. You want to be in the leadership. And this is why we're looking at this every single week. So, yeah, let's jump into, though, the top 10. And then they have all the stocks that are going to be mentioned, meet that criteria. And anything highlighted is actionable or in a base of some sort, which could be good for a watch list. So, all right, let's jump over to MarketSmith. And let's switch over to the daily, but get started on number 10, which is leisure, gaming, and equipment. Group we've been talking about week after week after week after week. This group looks like it was moving sideways for a little bit. The RS line is trending down. That's one of the things that kind of stood out to me. But it'd be interesting to see if we break to new highs with this group. And I think we've talked about this week after week. This is that casinos, but also that new age gambling with a lot of the online gambling that's going on. So a trend that I think is worth paying attention to for sure long term. Whether this is the move to be making in this market is kind of yet to be seen. Regardless, it's in the top 10. I think you would keep an eye on this group. It's important. All right, number 9. Oh, and sorry, forgot this. There you go. Stocks in the group, and all those are actionable. All right, number 9, though. We got steel producers. This one up from 11 to 9, so jumping into the top 10. You can see this RS line, though, trending down. So anytime I see the RS line trending down, this makes me a little more really. I'm not kind of banging the drum on this group. Keep an eye on it. It's in the top 10. Keep an eye on all these groups for real. But yeah, nothing that I'm screaming about and nothing actionable in this one. All right, number 8, Jumping into the top 10 from number 12 is wholesale electronics. This has gone on a good run. You can see basically from the end of last year, it's just continued to climb higher and higher and higher. The RS line climbed up higher. It did pause, almost kind of forming a base with, I guess, kind of action in the market. But the big thing to say here is it's a very, very small group. And in terms of stocks in this group, there really is only a couple that are in this group. So is this really the most actionable group? No, but it definitely is performing well. So number 7, jumping into the top 10, is electronic miscellaneous products. Bigger group, performing okay because it's just kind of like flat. It hasn't fallen apart. It hasn't gone on a run. It's basically just been in this flat base pattern. Where it goes from here, if this is an actual base and this is starting to turn around and maybe produce some good stocks, yet to be seen, but keep an eye on it. And then a lot of stocks that do meet the criteria, which is very interesting to me, but only one actionable. So most of these, though, I noticed were extended. So that's the big thing. A lot of these groups, a lot of these stocks in this group are extended, so not a lot of action to be had. 6, big drop from number 2 to 6. This is telecommunications, cable, and satellite equipment. The group still looks like it's doing fairly well. You can see that it had that rapid pullback, but then kind of turned around. But it is dropping in terms of the top 10 industry groups. So still keep an eye on it. And there you have some stocks. All right. Leisure, travel, and booking, another group we've been talking about consistently, staying flat at 5. The booking.com, the Airbnb, this kind of whole really looks like this new age of how people are booking hotels and booking rental properties for vacations is getting pretty interesting. So keep an eye on this group. I keep saying keep an eye on Airbnb. I think everybody knows its household name at this point, but they have 2 stocks that are actionable. Nothing screaming at me that this is the next leader that's going to bring us higher in the market. Number 4. Okay, this was 7 last week and jumping up to 4. And this is one of those that you're definitely going to want to pay attention to. Electronic semiconductor equipment. Big group. It looks like it's been going flat for a while, but I think if you look at a lot of these stocks, the stocks in themselves, there's a lot of them in there that have gone on tears. There's a lot of them that have bases, and it's just one of those broad-based broad industry group market moves. We've all seen these stocks in our group. We've all been talking about them for over a month now. Definitely pay attention to this group. Definitely go through it. And then here you have this one I'll make bigger. Tons and tons of stocks. A lot of them in bases and a lot of them actionable. So this is one of the most important groups I think that we're going to talk about this week to pay attention to for sure. Number 3, we got building, residential, and commercial. Another group that we've been consistently talking about every single week. Kona's going a little nuts if you guys could hear him, my dog. But another group that has gone very, very, you can just see, I'm just going to jump to it. I mean, look at that. Stock after stock after stock. This whole group making that broad-based move together. Massive move. And again, I apologize for my dog going nuts, but yeah, it's just a broad-based move. Everything looking like it's about to break out, and really very similar to what you see on the chart on the screen. It's like that kind of base pattern. A lot of them pulled back in handles and look like they're breaking out. So definitely another group to pay attention to. Number 2, we have building, residential, and commercial. This is another, number 2. Sorry. We have electronic semiconductor, fabulous. Didn't switch the screen. But again, another group that we're really, really hyper-focused on. I'd say these last 3 groups are the groups that I've paid the most attention to. This is a group we've talked about for months. This is a group we were talking about before it even made into the top 20, just because of how strong this group has been performing. Lots of names. The big thing with this, too, that I noticed was we had that rally. A lot of the stocks that were probably stocks that people had bought in that last rally really didn't break key levels in the pullback. Many of them pulled back to like the 21-day moving averages and just paused and then kind of bounced right back off of it. So this group showing incredible strength. And there you have your stocks. And the reason here is that you don't have as many actionable is because a lot of these are extended, like NVIDIA extended, Rambus extended, what is the ALGM Allegro extended. Like a lot of these are extended, but there's also some actionable ones in here too. So group to pay attention to. All right, last up, we got number one, not even really worth our time. We talk about this every single week. Metal products distribution, still number one, 3 stocks in the group, just not really worth paying attention to. So that's all we got for industry groups. But I think those are the 3 groups you really, really want to pay attention to that we talked about. Electronic semiconductor, fabless, the building, residential, and commercial, and the electronic semiconductor equipment. I think there's a lot of actionable stocks in there. I think they're the type of groups that are going to show strength that could lead us higher and higher and higher in this market. So really keep an eye on this for sure. Sorry about that. All right. Last up, we got earnings. So a couple things, still not the height of earnings season, but we do have earnings on the screen. So take a look at that. Now for the stance on the market. This is my 0 through 10 rating on this market. You can see the scale on the screen. So we had been in the bearish range because we were in correction. But now things are changing. Now the market, we got our follow-through day that we've been talking about for a while. So for this week, we're going to be looking at, for my score, a 6.4. Hard to see that point there, but so look, pretty simple. I think everything that we talked about this week was pretty positive. The major concern, because if you're looking at the scale, I'm bullish with some concerns, is we have a major area of resistance coming up. Really want to see us push through that. Really want to see a strong breakout from a lot of these stocks that are in bases and look like they're about to turn around. So if we can see the market reach above those resistance levels, and we can also see the stocks kind of break out, show strength, and start climbing versus having some of these stocks have false breakouts, that's what's going to push me from like somewhere in a 6 to somewhere in the high 7s, even possibly in the 8s, depending on what we're seeing in terms of the action with a lot of leadership and stocks. So look, this is the first step. This is a positive sign, but you just can't dive on into things as we've seen. The market could chop you up. It's all about just letting the market pull you in little by little by little. Be disciplined, do your routine, and it's just one of those things that don't let what has happened previously in the market discourage you. I've talked to a couple of people, I think, who have gotten chopped up over the past couple of years, and they're a little discouraged. You don't want to allow what's happened in the past to prevent you from performing in what could be a good market. You do have to be cautious. You do have to make sure you're managing risks, but don't allow it to make you disregard what's going on in the market and make poor decisions. Last thing I will say, if you do feel like that, if you do feel like beat up and you don't know what to do and emotional is best probably a way to put it about the market and almost paralyzed because of those emotions, take a break. Take a week. Don't do any stock work if you want. Wait till the weekend. Don't do anything during the week. Let the market do its thing. If this market goes on a run, I promise there's going to be plenty of stocks and plenty of time to make money in a good market that goes up. But it's more important to regain your mental. Give yourself a little bit of time. Take a little bit of a break. If you have any stocks, it's maybe a good idea to just go into 100% cash and just start fresh. I just wanted to kind of put that out there because there's a few people who have kind of came and said something in regards to just feeling like beat up about how the market has been over the past 2 years. So hopefully that helps you. But that's all we got for this week. As always, subscribe, turn notifications. And if you like this, some videos top on the right and bottom on the right that you might find interesting. All right, everybody. Appreciate it. Stay disciplined.